Revealed, the incredible story of a homeless boy who inspires a millionaire to change forever. Lucas rubbed the sleep from his eyes as the city roared to life outside their alleyway. The honks of cars mixed with chatter from morning commuters, creating a symphony that was both jarring and familiar. His makeshift bed was a tattered blanket, wrapped tightly around him like a warm cocoon. But outside, the bustling heart of Chicago continued to pulsate, indifferent to their plight. He glanced over at his mother, her face etched with worry, yet her lips curled into a faint smile when she caught his eye. That smile was their anchor, a reminder that together they carried a spark of hope. Despite their struggles, Lucas cherished mornings. They shared a simple breakfast of day-old bread, gifted by a nearby bakery. Today, he tore off a piece and offered it to a shivering family that huddled close. "Here, this will keep you warm," he said, his heart swelling with joy. The gratitude in their eyes filled him with purpose. In a world that often felt cold and harsh, Lucas believed warmth could be found in the simplest acts of kindness. Meanwhile, across town, Mitchell sat starkly alone in his glass-walled office. The Chicago skyline loomed outside, majestic and pristine, yet all he felt was suffocation. As screens flashed numbers and graphs, images of people like Lucas flashed into his mind. Workers protesting outside one of his factories, families losing homes he turned away. The thought made his stomach churn. In his pursuit of wealth, he had lost sight of real lives, real stories. At a community charity event that night, Lucas donned his best clothes, a patched-up jacket and 2 small shoes, ready to serve the very meals he was grateful to receive. He felt an electric buzz in the air. People milled around, taking their seats, while laughter danced through the hall. Little did he know that Mitchell was in the very same room, grappling with the decision of how much to donate to elevate his tarnished reputation. As the event progressed, Lucas caught sight of a stage decorated with images of families, children and their stories, a stark contrast to the glossy photos of Mitchell's corporate life. Just as Lucas was about to step onto the stage to share his testimony of resilience and hope, his world shattered. He noticed the looming eviction notice pinned to the wall of the alley. Panic raced through him, squeezing at his chest. Their shelter was all they had left. Could redemption be found before it was too late? The air felt electric as Lucas stepped onto the stage, his heart pounding against his ribcage. The bright lights dimmed, casting a warm glow upon him, making him feel both exposed and brave. He looked out at the sea of faces, some smiling, some nodding, and others with furrowed brows, as if each glance was a part of the challenge he needed to face. "Hello," he began, his voice wavering slightly, yet filled with unwavering determination. "My name is Lucas, and I'm here to share a story. It isn't just mine. It's the story of countless others who are just trying to make it through each day." The audience fell silent, hanging on to his every word. He spoke of his mother and the dreams she clung to despite every struggle they faced. He shared how they had lived in the alley, the frustration of some mornings that felt too heavy to bear, and how the kindness he encountered kept that glimmer of hope flickering in his heart. As he recounted their struggles with eviction notices, he watched Mitchell from afar, noticing the way the man tensed with every story Lucas shared. Mitchell felt a knot twist in his stomach. He had been prepared to offer a sterile donation, a quick fix for a broken system. But here was this boy, pouring his heart out, illustrating the humanity behind statistics and headlines. Instead of applause, all Mitchell could hear were the echoes of his own decisions pressing down like a weight. As Lucas finished speaking, the audience erupted into applause. The momentary relief washed over him, yet it felt bitter against the backdrop of the eviction notice still gripping his hands. He stepped down from the stage, searching for his mother in the audience. Their eyes met, and her smile, filled with pride, made every hardship feel worthwhile. Mitchell slowly approached, his palms clammy. The crowd around him buzzed about Lucas's incredible spirit, but all he could focus on was the fire ignited within him. "Lucas," he said, his voice shaky but firm. "Your story, it's powerful. It's more than just words." He hesitated, the man he had spent years creating suddenly felt so small. "I want to help. Lucas's brow furrowed in confusion. The man before him radiated wealth, but his offer sounded hollow against the heaviness of their reality. "What do you mean?" he asked, unable to mask his skepticism. "I want to create a program, a real plan to help kids like you. No more empty donations. I want to make sure no one has to sleep on the streets." Mitchell's eyes were earnest, aflame with newfound purpose. Lucas glanced back at his mother, seeing her wide eyes filled with cautious hope. "And what's in it for you?" he replied, testing the waters. He had learned the hard way that good intentions didn't always lead to real change. Mitchell took a deep breath, a touch of raw vulnerability breaking through his polished facade. "Honestly? I need this just as much as you do. I've lost who I am in the pursuit of success." His gaze locked onto Lucas, and for the first time, he felt human. "I want to be better. For you, for others." This was uncharted territory for both of them, the wealthy reaching out to the overlooked. A flicker of possibility danced in Lucas's heart, yet caution held him firmly in place. What if this was just another empty promise? As the charity event erupted into chattering excitement, Lucas found himself at a crossroads. Could he trust this man with his dreams? Could Mitchell really change? In that moment, the air crackled with uncertainty. New paths stretched out before them, their lives woven together by desperation and hope. What would it take to truly make a difference? Would they be ready to confront their fears, both the boy's unwillingness to hope again and the man's need for redemption? With a simple nod, Lucas made his choice, a mixture of hope and trepidation settling over him. Would this gesture ignite a flame of change, or would it fizzle out like so many before? The moment lingered between them, thick with uncertainty. Lucas's heart raced as he weighed his options, torn between the burden of disbelief and the flicker of hope Mitchell had ignited. He glanced back at his mother once more. She was watching him, her expression an intricate blend of pride and worry. "Okay," Lucas finally said, his voice steadying, "let us talk." Mitchell's face broke into a hesitant smile, relief washing over him. "Great. I mean, I have some ideas. Let us meet up soon, maybe talk over coffee." Coffee? The image felt foreign. A small treat, typically out of reach. "Sure," Lucas replied, attempting to hide a scowl. He wanted to sound more optimistic than he felt. "I'll call you," Mitchell said, gripping a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket. He scrawled his number down, his hand shaking slightly. "Please, just promise me if anything feels off, you'll let me know. I don't want to mess this up." Lucas took the paper, studying the numbers as if they were a lifeline. "Yeah, I'll keep that in mind," he mumbled, half aware of the world swirling around them. The crowd buzzed with energy, laughter, and clinking glass, all fading into the background as he considered the potential of this unexpected alliance. As Mitchell walked away, Lucas's mind raced. They were two different worlds colliding, a rich businessman and a struggling boy. Could a bridge be built? And what if they failed to cross it together? He couldn't let himself get too high on hope. His mother approached, her expression still hopeful. "What did he say, Lucas?" "He wants to help," he replied, handing her the paper. "We'll talk about something. He is serious about wanting to make a change." Her eyes widened. "That's wonderful, honey. Maybe this is what we've been waiting for." "Maybe," he replied, feeling the bittersweet weight of reality press down on him. "But he is a stranger. I don't know what this all means yet." "Sometimes you have to take a leap, Lucas. You never know what might happen," she advised, her voice soothing yet firm. As Lucas looked around, the vibrant atmosphere clawed at him. People were celebrating, engaging, enjoying lives untouched by the struggles that loomed over him. Yet somewhere in that chaos, he saw familiar faces, others who had once been in his shoes, too. It reminded him that hope was often the thread woven into the fabric of despair. Days passed, and Lucas's chest tightened with anticipation. Mitchell hadn't called yet, but deep down, he could feel the ground beneath him shift slightly. The world hadn't changed, yet something in him stirred, awakening a desire for more than survival. When the children in his neighborhood gathered for their usual games, Lucas found himself leading them, sharing stories of resilience that felt almost mythical. "We can be heroes," he shouted, and their faces lit up with the glory of imagined adventures. And then his phone rang. The screen flashed with an unfamiliar number, and his heart leaped, a confusing rush of hope and anxiety. "Hello?" he answered, his voice betraying none of the turmoil inside. "Lucas, it's Mitchell," came the reply. A hint of urgency layered his tone. "I've been thinking, can you meet me tomorrow? There's something we really need to discuss. I think it's important." The weight of those words hung between them, leaving Lucas breathless. Something was brewing, and it felt big, too big to avoid. Tension surged through him as thoughts raced. Was he ready to explore the unknown? To grapple with whatever Mitchell had in mind? "Sure," he replied, his voice steadier than he felt. "Where do you want to meet?" As they set a time and place, Lucas felt the walls closing in, the air heavy with possibility. What was waiting for him on the other side of this moment? But more than that, could this be the turning point in his life he had always yearned for? The morning sun pierced through Lucas's window, illuminating the room in hues of gold. The warmth felt reassuring, but his stomach twisted with anxiety. He jumped out of bed and paced, replaying Mitchell's words over and over. What could he want to discuss? Lucas couldn't shake the feeling that this meeting would change everything. The majesty of coffee seemed to shimmer in front of him now, each cup a promise. He wished he had the courage to savor those flavors. Instead, he only tasted fear. "Lucas. You ready?" His mother called from the kitchen, the scent of pancakes wafting through the air. She always tried to make every day feel special, but today felt different. "Yeah, Mom, I'm coming," he replied, trying to keep the tremor from his voice. When he joined her, she squeezed his shoulder affectionately, her smile broad and infectious. "Big day, huh? Just remember to breathe. Whatever happens, I'm proud of you." Her comforting words wrapped around him like a warm blanket, but as breakfast faded into a blur, the clock tick-tocked too fast, every hand movement urging him towards uncertainty. He left the house with his heart pounding, the paper with Mitchell's number clutched tightly in his palm. The streets buzzed with life, but he felt locked in his own thoughts. What if Mitchell was just toying with his emotions? What if he didn't mean to help at all? Suddenly, Lucas' phone vibrated. Mitchell's name flashed across the screen. His heart raced faster as he answered, "Hello?" "Hey, Lucas. Just checking in. I wanted to make sure we're still on for today. I can't stress enough how important this is." Mitchell's enthusiasm contrasted sharply with Lucas's inner chaos. "Yeah, I'm on my way." "Great. I'm at the cafe by the park. See you soon." As Lucas approached the cafe, he spotted Mitchell instantly, perched at a table by the window. He looked so at ease, engrossed in his phone while sipping coffee. Lucas's nerves fizzled out as an unexpected wave of admiration washed over him. It was strange to see someone with so much, sitting in the same space he had only imagined. "Lucas. Over here." Mitchell waved, his smile wide. "Hey," Lucas replied, sliding into the chair opposite him. The air between them felt charged, crackling with possibilities. "Thanks for meeting me. As I mentioned, I've been thinking a lot about what we can do together." Lucas swallowed hard. "What do you mean by that?" "I want to help you get out of where you are now. I was thinking we could start a non-profit, something focused on helping kids in your situation." The words hit Lucas like a splash of cold water. Non-profit? Help? Was Mitchell serious? "You mean like a charity?" "Exactly." Mitchell's enthusiasm was palpable. "But not just any charity. Something that empowers youth, provides resources, job training, education. I want your input. I want you to help shape this. Lucas sat back, stunned. But why me? Mitchell leaned in, his eyes earnest. Because you have a story that matters. It's not just about giving handouts, it's about inspiring others to see what they can achieve, just like you have. A swirling conflict of emotions tied knots in Lucas's stomach. How could a boy like him inspire anyone? But beneath the doubt, a small flicker of hope ignited. What if it all goes wrong? He whispered, unable to mask the tremor in his voice. That's what life is about, Mitchell replied earnestly. Taking risks. We can learn from our failures. Together, we'll build something amazing. For the first time, Lucas experienced the real weight and significance of this opportunity. Could his life really change? Could he become a beacon for others just like him? He took a deep breath. Okay, let us do it. Just then, a commotion outside drew their attention. A boy was shouting, and then Lucas's heart dropped. The boy's face was all too familiar, a kid from the neighborhood who had always seemed lost. Lucas. The boy called, panic etched across his features. You have to help. It's my brother, he needs us. As the weight of the moment shifted, Lucas felt the thrill of hope and necessity collide. Would he answer the call? Would he dive into this new chapter of his life while his past called for help? The path ahead seemed perilously steep, and Lucas found himself standing at a crossroads. What decision would he make now? Lucas felt a rush of adrenaline surge through him. The boy's urgent plea echoed in his mind, tearing at the resolve he had just found. The cafe's bright atmosphere dimmed, overshadowed by the gravity of the situation unfolding outside. Without thinking, he stood up, instinct driving him forward. Wait here, he told Mitchell, who looked bewildered. I'll be right back. He bolted out the door, the world blurring past him as he raced toward the boy, whose name was Alex. In many ways, Alex was a mirror of Lucas's past. A product of the harsh reality surrounding them, he was just a year younger but had been through a lifetime of struggles. Alex. What happened? Lucas asked, trying to keep his voice steady. It's my brother, Max. He's in trouble. Alex stammered, his eyes wide with fear. What kind of trouble? Lucas demanded, his heart hammering. He got into a fight with some older kids. They pushed him down the hill by the school. I think he hurt his arm, and he's scared. They won't let him go. Panic surged in Alex's voice, each word like an urgent alarm. Lucas looked back at the cafe, where Mitchell sat, watching them through the window. The choice before him felt monumental. Should he abandon this newfound hope, the potential of a brighter future with Mitchell, to help Alex? Come on, Lucas urged, nudging Alex. Let us go get him. Show me where he is. Together they rushed toward the school, the old brick building looming ahead as dread gnawed at Lucas's insides. The jarring contrast between the cafe's warmth and this reality left him reeling. As they rounded the corner, Lucas spotted a small crowd gathered. His breath caught in his throat. Max was on the ground, surrounded by a few boys who looked like they were enjoying their victory far too much. Their laughter felt like shards of glass. Hey! Lucas shouted, adrenaline fueling his voice. The boys turned, their amusement fading into surprise. Get lost, loser! One of them yelled, pushing Max down deeper into the grass. No, stop it! Lucas charged forward, his heart racing. Leave him alone. Alex's panic intensified, and Lucas could feel the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He was scared. Scared for Max, scared of the bigger boys, scared of what this could mean if he failed. If he failed, stop! He shouted, his voice growing firmer, the fear turning into determination. You think it's funny to bully a kid who can't defend himself? You need to go. The older boys exchanged glances, unsure of how to react to Lucas's sudden bravado. "Who do you think you are? Some hero?" one of them sneered. "No," Lucas replied, taking a step closer. "But I'm not standing by while you hurt someone who can't fight back." With that, the situation shifted. Lucas felt the pulse of courage coursing through him. He wasn't just a kid from the neighborhood anymore, he was a part of something bigger, something capable of change. Around him, the crowd began to grow, sensing the tension in the air. Suddenly, a voice cut through the chaos like a knife. "What is going on here?" It was a teacher, a tall woman with a no-nonsense attitude, her eyes narrowing as she took in the scene. The boys exchanged guilty glances before shoving past Lucas and Alex, retreating under the suddenly pressing weight of authority. Lucas knelt beside Max, whose face was pale but held a flicker of gratitude. "Are you okay?" he asked, heart in his throat. Max winced, trying to flex his arm. "I think it's just bruised." "Thanks for coming, Lucas." As Lucas helped him up, Alex burst into tears, relief washing over him. "I didn't know what to do." "You were brave." Lucas felt warmth spread through his chest. It was a feeling he hadn't known he craved. "We did it together." "You were brave too." For an instant, he could feel hope tightening its hold on his heart, but it quickly unraveled as he remembered Mitchell waiting back at the cafe. The weight of his own decisions pressed down hard, pulling him in two directions. Would he still have a chance at the future Mitchell offered him, or had he just forfeited it by stepping into this chaotic moment? As he looked at Max and Alex, he felt a new resolve take over. "Let us get you two home," he said, suddenly aware that the essence of his choice was being unveiled before him. In helping others, would he find the courage to help himself as well? The glimmer of change was strong, urging him forward, but lingering doubts lingered. Could he balance this life of helping others while building a future for himself? The answer felt just out of reach, and Lucas couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Would he discover what it truly means to balance hope with obligation? Lucas took a deep breath, trying to steady the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside him. Helping Max had felt good, but the nagging thoughts about Mitchell loomed large. He stole a glance at Alex, whose face was still streaked with tears. This kid had just experienced a traumatic moment. He deserved some attention, some real reassurance. "Alex," Lucas said gently, "let us sit down for a minute, okay?" They found a low wall by the school, and Lucas eased both boys onto it. Amy, the teacher who had intervened, walked with them, her presence a stabilizing force that pulled the tension from the air like a cool breeze. "You boys did great," she said, her tone softer now. "Sometimes you need to stand up for what's right, even when you're scared. It takes a lot of courage." Lucas nodded, grateful for her words. They mattered, especially since he was beginning to feel unsure about himself. What on earth did it mean to be brave? It was easy to throw his weight around when he thought it would help someone else, but now he felt that weight pressing down in a way he didn't expect. "Max," Lucas turned to him, "I'm really glad you're okay. If they bother you again, just let someone know, alright? Don't try to handle it alone." Max responded with a small smile, clutching his bruised arm tightly. "I will. Thanks, Lucas." Turning to Alex, Lucas saw the admiration in his eyes shine through the fear. This kid was looking at him like he was a hero, and that thought made his heart swell but also frightened him. What if he couldn't maintain this image? What if tomorrow he felt weak again? "I can't believe you stood up to them," Alex said, wiping his tears. "How did you do it?" Lucas shrugged, his mouth twisting into a shy grin. "Honestly? I didn't think, just acted. Sometimes that's all you can do." As they talked, the weight of the world felt a little lighter, but there were still worries gnawing at him. Should he go back to Mitchell now? Or stay, continuing this connection with Alex and Max? In that moment, a horn blared nearby, jolting him back to the present. The sight of a familiar car turned the corner. It was Mitchell, looking concerned as he scanned the area. Relief washed over Lucas but was quickly replaced by anxiety. This was a pivotal moment. Ignoring Mitchell felt wrong, but would leaving now betray the trust he had built with the boys? "Hey, I think I gotta go," Lucas said suddenly, standing up. "You guys okay here?" Max nodded, knowing he was safe as long as Amy remained nearby. Alex looked disappointed but understanding. "Yeah, we'll be fine. Just don't forget about us, okay?" As Lucas jogged toward Mitchell's car, he sensed the air shift around him. Something was different now. He felt a pull, a disquieting mix of responsibility and freedom. Could he dedicate part of himself to these boys while also making a future with Mitchell? "Hey!" Mitchell called out, climbing out of the driver's seat. His face was filled with concern. "I was worried." "What happened?" "They were being bullies," Lucas explained quickly, unable to hide the adrenaline still pumping through his veins. "But I helped. Max is okay." Mitchell studied him, a spark of something: admiration? Fear? Lucas couldn't decipher it. "Are you alright?" "You didn't have to get involved like that, but I did," Lucas replied, leaning against the car, heart pounding. "I couldn't just stand by." As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden glow over everything, Lucas suddenly felt a shift within him. Standing up for those who were vulnerable felt important, maybe even more than he had imagined. He turned back, watching as the boys and Amy exchanged laughter, a moment of lightness breaking through the tension. But beneath that was the growing weight of a realization. Was he ready for the consequences of his newfound bravery? Would he risk the comfort of his plans with Mitchell for this raw, aching need to protect others? The question echoed painfully inside him, twisting like a knife. As he faced Mitchell, awaiting his response, a whirlwind of possibilities danced in Lucas's mind. What have I really gotten into? He thought, uncertainty settling like a heavy cloak around him, and while the answer remained elusive, one thing was clear: this was just the beginning, and the choices ahead would shape not just his life but the lives of those around him. There was no turning back, but which direction would he choose? Lucas felt a rush of conflicting emotions wash over him. He could see the worry etched across Mitchell's face, but he also caught glimpses of admiration, a glimmer of pride. It warmed him, but the heaviness lingered. "Let us talk," Mitchell said, gesturing to the open car door. Lucas glanced back at Alex and Max, still safe and surrounded by laughter. It felt like pulling away from something vital. "Just give me a minute," he replied, stepping a few paces away, but not far enough to lose sight of them. "Why did you get involved?" Mitchell's voice was steady, but beneath it lay a current of concern. "You didn't have to take on those guys alone." Lucas rubbed the back of his neck, hesitating. "Because they were hurting someone. I couldn't just stand there and see it happen. It felt wrong." "Sometimes standing up can make things worse," Mitchell countered softly. "You don't know them like I do. Those boys, they're aggressive. They don't back down." "Are you telling me I should have walked away?" Lucas shot back, his heart racing. "That's not who I want to be. I want to help." Mitchell's face hardened slightly, but then softened again. A moment passed in silence, and the weight of their shared gaze felt like a bridge and a chasm all at once. "It doesn't mean you're not going to get hurt," Mitchell finally said, his voice lower. "It doesn't mean the world won't push back. You need to be careful. I need to know you'll be safe." Lucas's pulse quickened. "And what about those who can't protect themselves? Do I just ignore them?" He looked back at Max and Alex, two boys whose futures felt irrevocably intertwined with his own choices. Lucas wanted to be their shield, their voice a protector. But the haunting fear of failure gnawed at him. "You can't save everyone," Mitchell said, leaning against the car, frustration flickering in his eyes. "And you can't lose yourself trying. That's the thing." Lucas blurted out, his voice rising. I feel more like myself when I stand up for others. It's easy to let yourself fade away in this world, but fighting for someone, it feels real. Mitchell studied him, and Lucas could nearly feel the gears turning in his mind. What are you really saying? That you want to do this all the time? That it's your new job? Maybe, Lucas replied, the vulnerability in his voice surprising him. Maybe I want it to be. And I want to do it with you. But I also want to be there for them. For a moment, silence enveloped them, heavy with unspoken words. Lucas felt a flutter of hope but soon was engulfed by doubt. What if I can't manage it all? What if I let you down, let them down? Mitchell sighed, running a hand through his hair. You won't know until you try, he said finally, the warmth returning to his voice. But I don't want you to be alone in this. We can face it together. The flicker of a smile dared to break on Lucas's face, but uncertainty still hung in the air. Together. Is that really possible? Before Mitchell could answer, they heard Amy laughing nearby. Their attention turned to the boys who had now drawn together, arms around each other, upbeat and carefree. I know we'll figure it out, Mitchell resumed, pushing off the car and stepping closer. But we should be smarter about how we approach it. We need a plan. Lucas nodded, feeling a sense of commitment bloom in the pit of his stomach. I can help with that. In that moment, something shifted in unification of purpose. After the volley of emotions, they were now stepping into this fight side by side, but just as relief swept over Lucas, his phone buzzed in his pocket, slicing through the camaraderie like a knife. The screen glowed with a message that made his heart drop. Is it about them? Mitchell asked, his voice suddenly serious again. Lucas swallowed hard, uncertain what to say. With Mitchell at his side and the experiences of the day weighing heavily in his chest, he hesitated, sensing the air grow thick with uncertainty again, and as he opened the message, he couldn't help but wonder, was this going to change everything? What had he just stepped into? The message illuminated with an urgent intensity. Lucas's heart raced as he read the words, each one washing over him like a cold wave. Need to talk. Meet me at the park. Midnight. The sender was unknown, but a knot tightened in his stomach, a sense of dread creeping in. What is it? Mitchell stepped closer, peering at the screen. Lucas could feel the tension in the air, thick enough to choke on. It's Lucas trailed off, mind swirling. I don't know who this is. But it sounds urgent. Should I go? Midnight in the park? That doesn't feel right. Mitchell's voice was laced with apprehension, and Lucas could hear the gears in his friend's mind turning, weighing options that he didn't want to leave Max and Alex, but the pull of this message was strong. What if it had something to do with them? He glanced back at the boys, still laughing in carefree ignorance. How could he ignore a potential threat, even if it felt like stepping into darkness? Lucas Mitchell's tone softened, concern etching his features. We should stick together. Whatever it is, we tackle it as a team. An unexpected wave of gratitude surged within him. Lucas appreciated Mitchell's steadfast presence. But the intrigue of the message was compelling. What if it was an opportunity to gather information, to understand whoever was behind it? I think I need to do this. You could come with me. Mitchell shook his head. I don't want to put you in a situation that could escalate. You have to be careful. Lucas felt torn. He wanted to listen to the wisdom in Mitchell's words, but the sense of urgency pulled at him. What if you were right about those boys? What if they try to come after us again? I can't let fear control my choices. Not anymore. The air felt charged as they stood there, wrestling with their thoughts. Lucas realized that this was not just about him anymore. We could gather more people. I could tell the others. Mitchell nodded slowly, considering. We'll do it smart. But let us be cautious. Text whoever you can, but make sure they understand what might happen. Lucas quickly sent a message to a few of their friends before turning back to Mitchell. You'll be alright waiting here, then? Mitchell watched him intently. Just promise me you'll be careful. If things feel off, you leave. No matter what. A small smile flitted across Lucas's face. I promise. I'll check in. And if things go south, just be ready. A softness filled the space between them, a mix of apprehension and excitement. Lucas felt a flicker of courage. This was his chance not just to confront whatever lingered in the shadows but to show he wasn't alone in the fight. As he made his way to the park, the streets felt darker, quieter. Every shadow felt alive, each sound more pronounced. As he reached the park entrance, nerves clawed at him. The air was tense. He could see the moonlight casting long, eerie shadows across the path. With every step, he rehearsed what he would say. Questions raced in his mind. Who needed him? What could they want? And most importantly, was he ready for what lay ahead? Then he heard a faint rustle behind a nearby tree. Heart pounding, he approached cautiously, fully aware that this could be the moment that changed everything. The tension built around him like a storm waiting to break, but he wouldn't turn back now. As he peered into the darkness, someone stepped into view, an unexpected and familiar face. His heart dropped. And with that, the night would reveal its secrets, for better or worse. Lucas, they said, voice shaky and urgent. We need to talk. What had he just stepped into? The figure stepped forward, their face illuminated briefly by the moonlight filtering through the trees. It was Mia, her expression a mix of fear and determination. Lucas's heart raced for a different reason now, not just anxiety, but a rush of confusion. Mia? He whispered, his voice barely audible. What are you doing here? Lucas, I didn't know who else to reach out to. Her eyes darted around, searching the shadows behind him. I'm scared. Something isn't right. He felt an unsettling jolt in his stomach. What do you mean? They're watching, she said, trembling slightly. The boys from before. I saw them nearby last night. They're looking for something or someone. The weight of her words slammed into him. He thought about Max and Alex, the laughter echoing in his mind. Why do they want you? What do you know? She hesitated, taking a step closer. It's not just about me. They're involved in something bigger. I overheard them talking the plans, the threats. I can't go to the police, they won't believe me. They might even be involved. Lucas took a deep breath, trying to process it all. So, what do you want me to do? I need you to help me, Mia pleaded, her voice cracking. I think they're going to make a move soon, and I'm scared I won't make it out. An image of his friends flashed in his mind, their faces radiant with innocence. What if he dragged them into this? Could he protect them? But he thought about the bond formed through their struggles. He couldn't leave Mia behind. Okay, he said firmly, the resolve building in his chest. We'll figure this out together. But we need to move. Can you lead us to safety? Mia nodded, relief washing over her features. There's a place I know, a safe spot in the city where we can hide for a while. But we need to be careful. They could be anywhere. As Mia turned to guide him, Lucas felt the weight of the night colliding with a new sense of purpose. Behind him, the darkness felt alive with danger, but the light of friendship sparked in his chest. He couldn't let fear dictate their next moves. Suddenly, a rustling noise echoed through the park, a sound he recognized from the worst night spent worrying. Lucas's breath hitched, and he glanced at Mia. Did you hear that? Yes. She whispered urgently. We have to go now. Their footsteps echoed softly as they hurried down a narrow path, shadowed by thick trees. Lucas felt a pulse of adrenaline flow through him, the thrill of uncertainty mixed with dread weighed heavily on his shoulders. What would they face next? He could almost feel the eyes watching them from the dark corners of the park. Just as they turned a corner, a figure emerged from the shadows. Lucas's heart dropped again, this time with fury. "What are you doing here?" he demanded, recognizing the boy who once seemed to stalk their every step. The tension surged like a storm cloud, each heartbeat matching the thud of his pulse in his ears. "You shouldn't have come here," the boy said, a sinister grin creeping onto his face. "You've got something we want." Lucas's grip tightened into fists, ready for whatever was about to unfold. What had he just walked into, and would he be able to protect the ones he cared about most? The night felt heavy with tension as Lucas squared his shoulders, refusing to back down. The shadows around him thrummed with uncertainty, yet he felt a flicker of courage ignite from within. "Step aside," Lucas demanded, his voice firm as he faced off against the boy. "This isn't just about you anymore." He could feel Mia behind him, her presence a quiet strength that lent him resolve. "What's this? A hero moment? You don't know what you're messing with," the boy sneered, eyes darting mockingly. But Lucas wasn't about to let fear dictate his actions. He recalled Max and Alex, the helplessness he saw in their eyes when confronted just moments ago, and a fire ignited in his heart. "I don't care what you think," he snapped back, stepping closer. "If you're looking for a fight, you'll have to get through me first." Mia took a shaky breath, ready to back him up, but Lucas's heart raced at the danger they faced. The boys loomed just behind him, smirking, like a pack of hungry wolves waiting for the kill. Suddenly, the boy's expression shifted, realizing that Lucas wouldn't bend to intimidation. "Fine," he said, shifting gears with a wary smirk. "But if you don't back off, you'll regret it. The streets aren't kind to boys who bite off more than they can chew." With that, he stepped back, signaling toward the darkness. Lucas knew this wasn't over. They had scattered things in their wake, plans, threats that echoed like whispers in every corner of the alley. But Lucas was ready. He felt every beat of his heart reflect a new truth: he had allies now, he had Mia. He felt no fear, just an overwhelming sense of responsibility to protect. They turned and began to flee down the twisting paths of the park. With every step they took, Lucas felt a weight lift from his shoulders. The shadows behind them might lurk with intent, but he now had something stronger than fear: determination. After what felt like miles, they rounded a corner and collapsed against a damp wall beside an old convenience store. The city hums with life around them, not the life they lived, but one filled with laughter and promise. Lucas squeezed his eyes shut for a moment, breathing in the reality of stillness. "Are we safe?" Mia's voice wavered, but Lucas could see the glimmer of trust in her eyes, reflecting the fiery resilience that now burned brighter than ever before. "As long as we stay close, yes," he stated, feeling the adrenaline fade. "But we need to figure out what they're after." Mia nodded, showing newfound strength. "I think it's bigger than just a feud. It's about a deal gone wrong. I overheard them talking about taking control of the area, about how to scare off anyone who might get in the way. That includes us." Lucas clenched his fists, feeling the surge of fresh determination awaken within him. "Then we counter that fear with hope. We can't let this continue. We have to warn the others. We can gather everyone, talk strategy, and build something that can withstand whatever they're planning. It's about protecting our community, all of it." Mia's expression brightened. "You're right. We can rally more kids. Create a united front. If we all stand together," she trailed off, hope blooming in her chest. "Exactly," Lucas said, a smile cracking his worry. "We've built this. I've seen what standing united can do now." As they caught their breaths, Lucas reached for his phone, his heart pounding anew at the idea of sending a message. The air buzzed with potential, both excitement and anxiety. "We'll be the thread they can't cut," he declared, sending out word to their friends to meet at the old playground, a place where laughter once rang freely. "We can't let fear dictate our lives anymore," Lucas continued, his voice firm. "The change starts now." With renewed determination, they took one bold step after another, learning to weave hope from the fabric of fragility. They would protect the dream of a community united, one that wouldn't falter against the shadows looming just beyond the street corners. The streets, once cold and unyielding, began to feel warm with the promise of action. Inspiration lighting the way through the darkness. And as the city roared back to life, Lucas realized this was only the beginning. The fight was worth it because it wasn't just about survival, it was about family, friendships, and rising against the odds. As they stepped forward, Lucas felt confident that together they could sculpt something beautiful amidst a world too often bent on dividing. Maybe tonight had been cloaked in uncertainty, but what lay ahead shimmered with possibility. "Are you ready?" he asked Mia, who smiled back, her unwavering spirit shining through. "More than ever," she replied. With their path clearer, they dove back into the night, joining the symphony of the city, hearts alight, ready to face whatever was to come. You need to subscribe now. Don't let this moment pass you by. We can't wait to share more incredible stories like this. Leave a like now to help us reach more amazing souls, and comment below your reactions and feelings about this transformation. Remember, this is the moment to show your support. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful message. We're all in this together, and only true fans understand that change starts with us.